end of the year is here, which means it is time for the yearly animal room tour video. And well, the first thing you see if you walk into the room is this giant stand. So let's just get the camera and start right over here. Now down at the bottom we have my spotted turtle paludarium. Now this tank is easily the biggest tank of the animal room so far. It is 150 centimeters wide by 60 deep and 60 tall. And it is home to my spotted turtle. Now I made this tank last summer, so that's a couple of months ago. Here we go. For this beautiful little animal. Let me get some of the duckweed off my hand. Now she's a bit shy. It always happens when I get her out of the tank, but in a few minutes she should be comfortable enough to start looking around. And well, you know, you can't really pick favorites, but if I were to pick favorites, she is a really strong contender. Her name is Koa. She's a North American spotted turtle, and I've had her for three and a half years now, I believe. She's such a character. She always comes up to the glass. She's always begging for food. Yeah, it's just a really great animal. The only downside to spotted turtles is that they are very uncommon in the hobby and they're not legal to keep all over the world. Especially in America, there's a lot of restrictions to it. But yeah, if you can keep it, I highly recommend spotted turtles. They are really beautiful and fun little turtle. They don't get any bigger than this, and although I would recommend going as big as I did here, they don't really need that much space. For now she's the only turtle in this tank, but I did make this tank with the idea in mind that in the future I would like to get her a couple of friends, maybe a little boyfriend, and we could have a little breeding project going on. But it's really hard to find these turtles for sale here in the Netherlands. Now let's close this thing up and move on to the next animal. And the next animal doesn't live in this tank just yet, but I do have him right over here for you to see. His name is Disco, and he's a tiny little bearded dragon. Really lovely animal. I really like this little dude, man. He's really cool. He's gonna get much bigger. He's gonna be my biggest reptile. And as I said, he's gonna be living in this tank. It isn't done yet. I plan on making a really nice full 3D background, just like the one I did for my spotted turtle, but then themed to Australia, where the bearded dragon is from. But you might be wondering why this little guy isn't in his tank just yet. And well, the plan was to get him in here 2 months ago, but something came up that forced my hand. Well, turns out he wasn't alone when I bought him. He was full of mite, and it took a couple of weeks before I realized he had mite. And once I did, I had to quarantine him. I had to take the temporary tank I built for him down, and now he's living in a very sad looking plastic box with paper towels. And yeah, it's not my proudest work, but it is a sterile environment which allowed me to get him rid of the mite very easily. Well, I say easily, but it took a couple of weeks and a lot of effort to get him rid of it. And well, I felt really bad for it that I discovered it so late, but luckily we got him completely rid of it. I have been checking this little guy every day for weeks now, just to make sure I don't see any new mites appearing. And he appears to be completely mite free now, so this little guy will be getting a really nice new setup soon. But that's about it for my little bearded dragon, so let's move on to my desk. Now there isn't anything too special about my desk. There isn't an aquarium hidden in here somewhere or anything like that. But I would like to take this opportunity to tell you that I've made dedicated build videos for pretty much every setup you're seeing in this video. So if there's something you want to learn more about, definitely check out the description, because I link up all the build video in order of appearance down there. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to the next setup. And this tank over here is it's empty. There's really nothing in there. Well, there's a background and some sticks and potholes, but that's it. There's no substrate down here anymore. There's no animal in there anymore. This used to be my crested gecko tank, but for now it sits empty. But I thought I'd still show you guys so you can see that there's nothing in here. There's nothing going on here. So let's just quickly move on to the next setup. And the next tank is my ropefish jungle. Now, I really like this tank, but there's a couple of drawbacks that are obvious straight away. Right now you're looking at it and I can see very clearly into this tank, but the camera has a really hard time. It looks very dark. Well, it is kind of dark, let's be honest. It is kind of dark, but it is not as dark as it appears on camera. But anyway, this is a 200 liter plywood aquarium I made myself. It measures 80 centimeters wide, 60 centimeters deep, and I believe it was 40 or 45 tall. So it's roughly 200, I believe it's slightly less. And this tank, as the name Ropefish Jungle implies, is home to my rope fish. And I really like rope fish. They have such an interesting behavior. They are very social. They like to curl up together, and they can actually breathe air for a short period of time. So sometimes I can also hear them move up to the surface and then get a big breath of air, which is pretty interesting. And besides the ropefish, I also have a pair of cobia in here, which is a very underrated fish in my opinion. You don't see it that often in stores, at least here in the Netherlands, but I think they're very beautiful. But the downside of this tank is that it is not in a good spot for me to enjoy it to its fullest. This side of the animal room, it gets all of the mess. So you can already see it a little bit, but there's a random cardboard box, other storage stuff over there. The camera is in between some stuff that I'm trying to store here. This side of the room, it's a mess. And if I get to cleaning up this side of the room, I would enjoy this tank a lot more. So I should probably do that. Now, the other thing I would like to do with these fish, because they are pretty big, I feel like they could do with a bigger tank. So somewhere in the future I would like to get them at least double the size tank, but that will probably not happen as long as I live in this house. Now, moving the camera to the side, you can get a clearer view of how messy this side of the room is. We have Koa's old tank over here that I need to do something with. Then there's a random old aquarium with a lot of equipment that I use for building the backgrounds. Up here we have the isopod force we made a couple of weeks ago. Now the tank is without a dedicated spot and without light, but turns out the inhabitants don't mind at all. They seem to be just fine in there. They're thriving, they don't really care for the light. The plants do, but since it is so close to the window, they get the light they need for now. So that's really nice. Now obviously right in the middle is my tub of shame. It is really hard to miss, but this thing holds my bearded dragon for now. It looks terrible and it makes me feel kind of guilty towards my little guy, because not a lot of enrichment. He has a slope, he has his food, and he has paper towels that he sometimes digs under, sometimes doesn't. And something else that I dislike about this setup is that well, to get him out, I need to reach in from the top, which 9 times out of 10 scares him, and he opens his mouth and it really messes with the bond I'm trying to build with my little guy. So that is something I really hope will improve when I make him a new setup. And that's about it for my corner of shame here. So let's quickly move on to a proper setup. And for the next setup, I'm gonna stand up again, because that will be this one up here. But real quick, down here, you can see a little bit of light. We have a little bit of a plant storage situation going on. It's nothing too special for now, but I left this space deliberately to fit another tank just like the one up top. So yeah, let's talk about this one up here. And the tank up here is the newest tank of the room. It measures 50 centimeters wide, 45 centimeters deep and 80 centimeters tall. Oh, this is, by the way, for my crested gecko Tito. Now, you see me build this tank like only 2 weeks ago or something like that. So it is very new. Nothing major has happened in that time. I was very scared that the magnets holding this door shut would fail. If Tito would jump on the glass, that it would be just enough force to break the magnet seal and open the door, but no, I've seen her jump onto the glass and nothing happens to it. The door will stay shut, so I'm really happy about that, because I love how clean it looks without any hardware keeping it shut like this. Love this design. Now, looking at the tank itself, I'd say it looks really good. I do have to say that this Schefflera is not completely happy just yet. It may recover, but it may also fail. I've tried Scheffleras in crested gecko tanks before, and well, I've seen a lot of other people have success with it, but mine never seem to really want to grow, but oh well. Now, more towards the bottom, you can see that I dropped a couple of these old gecko cups down here for the cleanup crew to enjoy. Now let me try to find an angle for the camera where you can actually see Tito. Now there you go. She is sleeping right now, but she's very clearly really enjoying the new setup. She's been way more active in this new tank. Okay, now let me check if she will allow me to show her off a bit more. If she is resisting, I'm not gonna force her, but yes, there she is. She just woke up, so she is a bit pale. Here you go. Hey, she's waving to you guys. Now, this is Tito, my crested gecko. I've had her for 4 years, but right after the video of building her new tank went live, she decided to drop her tail, which, yeah, let's be honest, it's a bit of a bummer. I don't know why she dropped it. Just one day I walked in here and I saw her tail at the bottom of the tank, and at first I thought she was laying on the floor. Where do you want to go? Anyway, at first I thought she was... You want something to climb on? Alright, that's fine. At first I thought she was just chilling on the floor for some reason. But no, it was just her tail. And well, it did scare me. And I am very curious what scared her so much that she decided she had to drop her tail. It is healing up very nicely. She's a bit clumsy because she still needs to figure out her balance without a tail, but yeah, she's doing fine. She keeps eating a lot, way more in this tank than she did in her previous tank. And yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about it other than I'm really enjoying little Tito over here. Now, moving on, we have right next to Tito another aquarium. This one is 90 centimeters wide, 40 centimeters deep and 40 centimeters tall, which means it holds 150 liters. In the past I said that this one holds, I believe, 120 liters, but I miscalculated. It's 150. And for now it is filled up halfway. And this used to be the Sunken Forest Aquascape. I say used to be because when I set it up I also had a lot of pieces of cork in there that were sticking up and laying flat, and with the cork it made a lot more sense having the water level halfway where it is right now. But I took them out, I used them in Tito's tank, so there's no cork in here anymore. There is still a lot of plants and you may see some fish dart around in here. Now this is one of those tanks that I would like to not talk about that much, because at this point it's basically a holding tank. All of these fish, all of these plants, they will move to a new tank that is right behind the camera right now in the near future, and I have a really cool plan. But I'm not going into much detail here, so let's move over to the fire belly toads. Now this tank, I love it. I love frogs, and this tank in particular, these guys are funny. They are really funny. Now first things first, this is another custom made tank. It is 80 centimeters wide, it is 60 centimeters tall and 40 centimeters deep. And there's a little water area to about... I'm not sure, I think this is 15 centimeters, maybe 20, something along those lines. And down here in the water section we have zebra danios that I got for free on accident. I ordered some fish online one time and for some reason they added a bag of zebra danios in there, so I thought, you know what, I'll just try them in this tank, and they seem to be very happy in here and living very peacefully with the frogs. Talking about them, these guys, man, I love frogs. And in this tank in particular, the frogs, they float along the water surface with their legs all stretched out, and it just looks goofy, and I love it. Now, one of the things that I really like about this tank is that it is so low maintenance. There's very little cleaning that needs to be done. I'm not even sure if I've ever cleaned this front piece of glass, because the shrimp and the snail in here, they just take care of it for me. I do have to clean off some water lines over here and on the side panels, but that's the main thing I have to do. That and occasionally trimming the plants and well, feeding the frogs. But water changes barely any. Just look at this goofy guy floating around. Let me see if I can get it on camera so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is the goofiest thing you can do. Oh, there he goes. I love it. I love it when they do this. And if you're watching this video and you don't own any reptiles or amphibians just yet, but you want to get into them, I can highly recommend these guys. They are cheap, they're easy to care for, they don't need any crazy lighting. It's just a breeze. It's really simple, and yeah, I can highly recommend that. They are fantastic pets. But we still have another stand to go, so let's quickly move on. Now the sunken forest and the frog tank are over here. The entrance to the room is over here, which means we are done circling around the animal room. But at the start of the video we skipped one of the stands, which if you've seen the previous room tours, used to be a big highlight of the room, but now is it's empty. There's barely anything in there. It looks kind of sad, to be honest, and that has to do with the fact that I plan on taking this whole thing down. I wasn't enjoying this top part anymore, so it had to go. The river tank was doing alright, but I learned a lot in the last couple of years that I would like to apply to this tank to make it even better. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna completely start over from scratch over here. But there's still one tank left down there, so let's take a look. And this tank, I'll just say it straight away, it is not gonna win any Aquascape awards. This tank holds my peacock gudgeons and my amber tetras, and despite the tank being ugly, they are absolutely fine in there. I can see them quite often. It is a black water tank with leaf litter. There's some plants, there's a few bits of wood, so they all have whatever they need, and all of the fish are doing absolutely fine. The only issue with this tank is that it is suffering from the same fate as the sunken forest aquascape, where I know that it is on the way out and I have something much better planned for this setup, pushing it down the priority list of keeping the tank really clean and neat looking. But all the fish are doing absolutely fine. The tank is just ugly. And with that, we've had every single tank in the animal room. Definitely let me know which one was your favorite. And if you're hungry for more content, I recommend you watch this video next. I'll see you there.